You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, for right now, I'm Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
For a minute at least, I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, September 25th, episode 3527. Good morning, horse people.
Hello, horse world. It's Wednesday, the day you start daydreaming of a weekend with your horses. We'll help you get there with more silly horse talk on Horses in the Morning.
Well, we have a show planned for you today. We're going to be talking about weather because apparently the weather gods hate our show. They hate you, they hate me, they hate everything about this show. You know how I was talking the other day about your detractors and you got to ignore them? Well, yeah. Mother Nature, not so much. It's like she doesn't
hard to ignore.
Yeah, she doesn't like us, and it's hard to ignore her. So we're going to talk a little bit about that at the beginning of the show. Jamie's weather and our future weather. Also, Erica Lacher is going to join us from Springhill Equine. We've been talking a lot about pain in horses and recognizing pain. You're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And I thought we did an interview with her a couple of years ago where she really went into how to recognize pain in horses, and I thought that would be a good one to replay right now.
That's cool.
And then what are we doing on the post show?
You know what? I want to just talk to all the ladies who are around my age. I'm just the stuff we go through. You know what, Glenn? You can leave for this portion of the
lots
show.
To do today.
So you can check out. I'm going to talk to the ladies one-on-one.
Okay, good. All right. I like that. Well, so we'll talk about the little storm we have coming, but you had a bizarre thing yesterday.
Yeah, we did. It was crazy. So there was potential for rain last night, but nobody predicted what would happen, which was there was a supercell. I've watched the news. I'm back to watching my David Payne on Channel 9 because it's a supercell and it's coming down through Oklahoma City. Oh my God. So basically it was this cloud of hail. And it went from the north side down to the south side all the way through. But it was only I'm trying to think, Patty, who lives a mile west of me,
we went to her house,
hail.
Right? That was close to you. Yeah.
It's the next street down. No hail. The people a mile to the right, no hail. Us, golf ball and baseball size hail. So I recorded some of it on my phone. I don't know if you'll be able to really get an idea. But at this moment, by the way, yesterday was Anna's birthday. And I'm like, happy birthday!
Was this the first hail she said? Well, that big. Nobody's seen hail that big. It was huge.
I've never seen hail that big. So we were watching the news. So you can hear the news guy in the background. And Chad and I are trying to explain, the weather guy, the whole state of Oklahoma is literally discussing what is going on my street. I mean, that's how... The National Weather Center, for the whole country, is 2 miles from here. So that is just to tell you they're really on top of it and how nerdy weather people are around here. But I'm just going to let you listen to this. Hopefully you can hear it. Let me turn it up.
Smoke's going crazy.
Oh my God. That is so
Did you hear
loud.
The thuds?
So loud.
And Anna's like, we brought all the horses in. Everybody had a stall.
Thank
all
God.
The chickens were locked up. The dogs were in the house, but Ginger went out after this. This lasted for about 7 minutes and then it was gone.
And it was huge. I mean, I'll put a picture in the show notes, but it was golf ball to softball size. I mean, it was huge.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So
how about damage?
Surveying the damages this morning. So we'll have to get an insurance company out here to look at the roof because it's a big thing to have underlying roof damage when you have, so there's companies that come out like in this area, and that's their job, is they inspect your roof and see whether you need a new roof. On my house that's less than 5 years old, but I can see we have some like corrugated metal parts, and I can see dents in them, and so that means cars were all under. We had parts all the cars. I'm sure my trailer, I lost a light, like an above light on one of the trailers last hailstorm. So we'll check that. I haven't been down to the barn yet, but I'm sure my barn roof is this. I'm going to have to replace the roof right outside here, because we have like a little metal corrugated thing, and I'm looking at it in my office, and I can see dents in it now. So I texted Chad, I'm like, we're going to have to replace the gray part of the roof on our house, and let's get it green, just like my barn. I want it to match.
Boy, thank God the animals are in. They'd be dead.
Oh my God. You have to have cover out here. And that's kind of the part of the discussion people have with inclement weather out here in Oklahoma, or any tornado situation, is, do you leave them out to let them run away, or do you put them in?
We're having it right now in Florida, Category 3 hurricane. What do you do? Leave them in, put them out.
Well, your thing is different, because it's going to affect everybody all the time. My thing is, I'm putting them in.
Yeah,
Two reasons. Well, multiple reasons, but I'm going to put them in because of hail. Every tornado surrounding it is always hail, and there's a massive amount of debris. So, I'm taking my chances on a direct hit on the barn, but my horses were in the rain 2 days ago, and Friday ran through the fence because of rain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what would you actually do if hail was falling on your head? They would just die. They would all be dead, and they would just run themselves through any sort. They'd find barbed wire and run through it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm pretty particular about putting them up, which I'm so glad I did last night. And we didn't know if it was going to hit us. It was like, may not. It was, it's going to go to the east. And they're like, and it's taking a turn for the south. It's headed for you, Norman. Cool.
That's incredible. I've seen hail, but not like that.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
I think you in Texas are the only ones that have hail that big.
Man, it was nuts. It was nuts. But I mean,
what did Anna think?
Here it comes and goes. It's really quick, but hurricanes are days. What are you going to do?
Well, we're in our house 5 days, and yesterday there are 5 days. We haven't even unpacked yet. So our county, Levy County, which is a very rural county right along the coast of the Gulf. I didn't realize yesterday how close we were to the Gulf now. We're only 30 miles from the Gulf. We moved much closer to the Gulf, where Cedar Key is a cute little town that's going to be gone tomorrow on the Gulf. Half of it burnt down last week, and the other half's going to be flooded tomorrow. But we're only 30 miles from there, and this storm is coming, right along the coast. It doesn't, Lord knows what it's going to do. Whatever the weather people say where it's going to go, it's not going there. It's going to go somewhere else. So you always have to count on that. If it turns in towards us, it'd be really bad. We're already expecting 75 to 110 mile an hour winds here. So they have called for a mandatory evacuation, which nobody listens to, for modular houses, which ours is. So we don't know how it's going to hold up. We have the, kind of open stalls in the barn, and our friends that are nearby don't have any barn right now. She just moved in too. So we're all going to go to Charlotte's like we did for Irma. Charlotte has concrete block barns, and they're very sturdy.
Yay.
And they have an apartment in the barn and everything. So, and she's much further inland. She's almost an hour inland from us. Although this storm, I don't know if you saw the pictures this morning, it makes Florida look tiny. The storm is enormous. I mean, it's huge. It looks like Irma, actually. So, we're going to get something. Lord knows, I hope this house is still here when we get back.
Oh my God, that would suck so bad.
After all of this. We haven't even really had a chance to enjoy it yet. So we're going to go, probably the storm hits tomorrow and all day tomorrow and tomorrow night. And, we'll hope we can get back on Friday. There'll be power out for sure everywhere. Last time Irma.
So you can pretty much count on not having a show because, again, Glenn's just going to take Friday off, make himself a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll be heading back on Friday morning if we can get here. That's the other thing. There'll be trees down and wires down everywhere. So we'll find out if we can get back.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm taking a separate truck. The problem we had the last time, this is a horse person problem. You're going to get this one. So the last time we were over at Charlotte's for 3 or 4 days before we could even attempt to come back. The roads were so closed, full of trees and wires. And then when we did attempt to come back, you go down one of these little 2-lane roads, right? And there's a tree down, and now you have your big trailer. What do? You can't.
Oh, man.
Turning around?
Good at backing up.
So this time, I'm going to take the little truck, and I'm going to come back first to make sure that it's clear, because turning around was a nightmare. And a 30, as you know, a 30-some foot gooseneck, it's not easy to turn around in somebody's little tiny driveway. So that's what we're going to do. I'll come back. I'll bring the chainsaw along and, just hope for the best at this point. That's all we can do.
Oh, man.
So we'll head out this afternoon. Thank God for Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. You're a lifesaver. I really appreciate it. Her farm sits empty in the summer, so we'll be the only ones there, but she's so nice to let us.
Oh, she's not even there?
No, they're up north. So we're going to go invade her property.
Nice.
But in the meantime, we're pouring lots of water because you have to count on when we get back, we're not going to have power for a while. And there we go. So that's it. We'll let you know next week how we made out. If I'm here, if I'm not here, the power never came back. So Jamie will come on the air by herself. She's going to learn to edit over the weekend.
Hey, what's up?
Well, I'm glad you're okay. I mean, I'm glad your cars are underneath because you already bought dented cars from hailstorms.
Yeah, no, it is the greatest time to go car shopping is when it
I don't know after this one, though.
Well, it didn't hit the things. It was only my house. So it was like the only thing that was hit. By the way, I'm looking at my screen door and there's holes in my screen window and there's holes in the screen. Cool. At least the window's held.
Yeah.
That's good.
In the house, nothing broke.
No, knock on wood. I haven't looked all around yet, but yeah, it looks good. Was
this after dark or during the day?
Like as sun was going down.
It always seems worse after dark.
So I posted a picture on my Flyover Farm Facebook page that Patty actually took a mile away. And you can look at the picture and it looks like smoke is coming off the ground. It
looks like a fire. It's so red.
Looks like a fire. Yeah, no, that's actually the sky coming down to my house. So it actually is going down, not going up, but it is a very cool, like optical illusion.
I thought it was fake.
Yeah, no, that's real.
And that's your house. This morning when we went, we have great views here now at this house, east and west. And when I looked to the sunrise this morning, it was so bright red. I've never seen it that red before. So that old saying, about sailors.
Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do some daily Whinnies. I have one auditor birthday, Danny Russell. Happy birthday to Danny. We also have a brand new auditor named Stephanie Collins, and we want to welcome her. I think she already joined the auditor room, so we're glad to have you, and we appreciate your support.
All right, so Marion Merrill from at the Claude Soul came on and did a psychic reading of Cinco, the new auction purchase that I
And that was
did.
Monday, right? Monday show?
Yeah, it was Monday. And so I just thought I should maybe give you guys a psychic reading update. Would you like to know kind of how I'm getting along?
Yes, because I'm always skeptical.
I'm a hardcore skeptic because I don't want to believe that horses are that sentient where they can really think
let's be
that
honest,
much
it just
about what I
pisses you
do.
off they're not talking to you. That's what it is.
That is true. I wish I had a gift, but so she came on and she said a couple things like his left side he's very protective of, and I was like, well, I knew that. She was like, but his left flank, he received a severe aggressive kick from a male at one point in his life.
He spent a lot of time on that, actually.
Yeah, she was pretty convincing anyway. Also, my energy is what makes him like he's defensive, and then I project defensive energy because he's been aggressive with me a few times. I tried to be cool, but like you still are like, are you going to attack me right now? Like there's still that because I'm human. So there's still the like, and she said that I need to like, he was saying my energy is too defensive, which makes him feel like I'm about to do something. So basically what I should do is just wait and let him come to me. Okay, cool. So Farm Boy, definitely not a believer in any of this.
No, I imagine he's not.
I go to the barn yesterday and
He's a scientist.
he's an engineer and he's super Christian. Okay. So like none of this resonates with him at all. And anytime I talk about something like this, he just like, he kind of just sighs and walks away, So I'm like, okay, Farm Boy,
he goes back to the frat and says, "This woman I work for, she's a nut."
This is such a crazy person. But I get to play with horses, so it's fine. But yeah, he puts up with a lot because he gets to play with horses. Okay, so Farm Boy had done what we call plastic on a stick. And what it is you approach and retreat with a bag of plastic. I couldn't do it because it was the Sunday morning where we had all these plans. So I was like, if you could just do these things with him, I trust him. His girlfriend was there, so he was safe and she was videoing. And I'm like, put the plastic, you put it all over their body so you get them kind of used to those noises. And then if a saddle were to come on, it's not as big a deal because plastic has been all over his body up and back. So I'm like, hey, how did the whole plastic on a stick go? He's like, really good. I got it everywhere. Really? I said, you did? And he goes, yeah, I got it all over him. But man, he'll kill you if you put it on his left flank.
Oh my God.
I was like, no. What? I'm sorry. No, we didn't use plastic yet. We used an artificial arm. So it's like a giant arm with like a hand on the end. He was like, I put it everywhere. I was able to pick up his back feet, but you put it on his left flank and he'll kill you. He's just so defensive.
Wow.
I was like, no, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, yeah, I touched him everywhere with it, including his back feet, under his belly, his chest, his front legs, everything except for right there on that left flank. He was like, is bad. He's so scared. He's so defensive. Like kick you in the face defensive. I was like, oh.
Psychic Marion nailed that one.
Well, I go, it's funny you should say that because the psychic said, and he was just like, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, she said it was a big guy with a pointy cowboy boot, aggressively kicked him right there. And she was like, and then remember I said how like he rests one of his legs all the time, like when he's standing there, and I'm like, either he's resting or he's ready to run. And she was like, it's kind of a combination of the two because he rests it because it hurts. But then like he's also knows he better preserve energy because he might have to run anytime soon. I have been watching it is left hind every time. She said there's probably some nerve damage. And I'm like, okay. And now I had Farm Boy lead him away, and there is a giant lump. When he steps forward, muscle like pops out. Like
on that
he's
left.
not unsound on it. It's just like, it looks like a hematoma or something on that left flank. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. So then she also said my energy is defensive and I need to just
chill out.
Let him come to me. Just chill. Let him come to me. Okay. I'm going to video this later today because you will not believe this, Glenn. Let him come to me. I've now.
Yeah, she said, sit and read a book or something. Yes.
Yeah. Just
in the stall.
There, check your phone. Yeah. No, I'm not going in the stall, but he's in a pasture now, a paddock. But I turned him out in this bigger pack, and I was like, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Like, please, come. And now he's learning that food's in the barn. So it's been taking me about 10, 12 minutes to catch him, even though he's wearing a halter, because if you approach him with that lead rope under his chin, he flies backwards. And so I've been having to hold a bucket of grain and like put the lead rope out of the bucket. And so when he puts his head in the bucket, I click on. Like I'm resorting to like childish tactics to catch this horse. So I was like, all right, Marion, let's see what you got. I walked out to the pasture yesterday. I opened the gate all the way and I stood there with my arm out with the lead rope on it. And I was like, I'm just going to wait. She said, let him come to me. He stood there and he looked at me and he looked at the barn and he looked at me. I almost passed out when this happened. He walked up and put his chin over the clip of the lead rope. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. What? I bring him. That was when I was bringing him in for the storm. Okay. Bring him in for the storm. I'm like, oh my God, he gonna
really hated that.
After that storm, all the horses were pretty spooked, right?
Bet.
And so I go to turn him out, and I was like, I'm never catching this sucker. And it's dark, and it's still raining a little bit, and it's like it sounds like a war zone for 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is not going to go well. I was like, oh wait, okay. I opened the stall door all the way, I held my hand out with the clip, and I waited 30 seconds. He walked up to me and put his halter over the clip.
Well,
I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Where has this been my whole life? I mean, I'm going to film it today, me catching this horse in the paddock. I don't have to catch him. He catches me. It's
what does Monty say about psychics?
I don't know. I don't know
either. I don't know if I've ever heard him talk about it. Be interesting to ask him. I'll have to ask
I
Daddy.
don't want to know what he says because I want to believe.
Well, it worked here. Holy cow.
This has been insane. You guys, the couple of things.
Best $40 you ever spent.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that she missed here and there, but like for the most part, these were two fairly large things. Now, the third thing that she said is he had a pop in his withers, right? Well, I'm still not like. I told Farm Boy, like the main thing we need to do is get him okay with somebody approaching him on both sides near the withers. We don't have to mess with the flank yet. But here's my problem, Glenn. I am nervous, and you women might understand this. Like, I mean, and not even women, just horse owners. Yeah, I'm nervous to love him. You know, like I'm trying to be a business person and go, okay, well, if I take a bath on this, then I helped him out and made him not live in this cycle of auctions and BS and somebody's nice to him. And I'm starting to really like him. But what if I get him and they're like potential for like broken withers, which is why he's bucked everybody else off. He's got this obvious soreness in his left hind, in his flank, and he's super guarded about it. Like, what if it's something that I have to put him down for and I'm just going to be brokenhearted because yesterday I was like, oh my God, you're gonna love me. And then I'm like, no, don't love him yet. Don't love him yet because you might not work out. And then you're gonna
Let's date for a while first, Jamie. Let's date for a while.
What is wrong with me? I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get married. And we're gonna like move to a big farm. Like, what is wrong with me? I totally like.
My God, I hope you weren't that way with guys.
Oh, you know me. No, I wasn't.
I know you.
And I'm going to have to break up with you. That's kind of where I'm at. Like,
I'm sorry.
You're going to love me, and I'm going to have to break up with you. And it's going to suck for both of us. Breaking up sucks. God, you know what? Well, I'm going to talk in the post show about the potential that I went to a doctor yesterday and had a doctor visit with a guy who talked to me about where I am in the world. And he did make a suggestion that counseling might be a good idea for me. So I'm listening to myself now. I'm like, shoot, I might need counseling.
BetterHelp.com. Should we go into the BetterHelp commercial now?
I know, right? If they're open to, I mean, if anybody needs it.
Well, they sponsor everybody else. BetterHelp really needs to start sponsoring horse people. The horse shows.
Oh, man, they're missing the market. They sponsor all the celebrity people who are like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm so rich. Like, come on. Yeah. We're all crazy and we know it. Cash in on
and we're all
this.
broken. It's like,
for your market, BetterHelp. Advertise. Send out a message to them right now and send this clip. And I want them to know that we know we're all crazy and we all need help. We just need encouragement. We don't know where to go. The doctor was like, you may have, he's like, I've got some really good people. And I was like, thank you. Now I'm like, God, I should call him back.
All right, we're going to talk more about that in the post show. So head on over right now to statelinetack.com, and you're going to see one of the highlighted banners on the homepage is for Western Saddles and Tack. They have a whole bunch of Western saddles on Tack and Tack on sale right now for up to 25% off. One thing I will say about the Western people is they have the prettiest saddle pads and saddle blankets. They do.
I know.
And they have more variety than, there must be 1,000 different kinds of saddle pads and relief pads and shim pockets and all kinds of things for Western saddles. But they have that from all different price points, a lot of different starter stuff there. So if you're just getting into Western, you'll find 78 pages highlighted.
They have such cool stuff.
Yes, I mean, Western people do have some cool stuff. And I love the bling. They're much more blingier too. So, but they have Australian saddles and distance riding saddles, all kinds of things right now highlighted at statelinetack.com. Over 120,000 different products for you to choose from. All right, we're going to head to our horse health report brought to you by Daily Dose Equine, non-GMO core nutrition for horses and ponies of all ages. I wanted to find a health topic today that kind of related to what we've been talking about, and we've been talking, obviously, a lot about pain and recognizing pain. And several years ago, this was 3 or 4 years ago, Dr. Lacher came on from Springhill Equine and talked to us about recognizing pain. It was a really good segment. And those of you that have heard this before have forgotten it, because we have. So we're going to replay that for you, and ties right into what Jamie was just talking about, actually. Now, we're going to go next to our health segment, and it's brought to you by Daily Dose Equine.
And we've got Dr. Lacher on with us again from Springhill Equine. Good morning, Dr. Lacher.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Thank you for coming back again. You're just a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Definitely. I'm an equine veterinarian. That's the only way to be.
That's true. You live it for sure. Well, you guys wrote an article at springhillequine.com called Recognizing Pain in Horses. And this is something that I think everybody is interested in. You know, we all love our horses and we want to know if they are in pain. So tell us a little bit about how we do this.
Well, horses being a prey species, and most of our pets, to be honest, but horses in particular, they don't really like to show us pain. So it's up to us as owners and veterinarians to really cue into those subtle signs that they give us. Mm-hmm. And that was our goal, was to try to help people notice that. But the big thing is, you know your horse. And if your horse is doing something that is abnormal for them, that is often the first sign that they have some pain somewhere. And it can be incredibly subtle. But I always tell my clients, like, don't discount that even little tiny sign that your horse is giving you that they're in pain.
So I just want to back up a little bit. I was trying to figure out who wrote this article, and Tony the office cat.
The cat, of course.
Yeah. Who wrote this article. He's a really educated cat. He's gleaned a lot off of working in a veterinary practice. It's impressive. But I was wondering, because I have 2 Mustangs, and the 2 Mustangs that I have will not show pain. I have one horse that got an abscess, and oh my God, you think he's dying. He's like, non-weight bearing, leg in the air. Oh my God, my foot hurts. And then the other one of the Mustangs blows the abscess out the coronary band. You never knew it was in there, never showed a lameness. So is that typical of different breeds to be different, the levels of showing pain?
Yes. It's a bit like, the man flu, when men get a little bit of an illness.
Hey,
and they're dying.
Hey,
yeah. So that's.
Hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, it's true. So I own a thoroughbred, and thoroughbreds are the poster children for the man flu. They get a teeny tiny little abscess or a scratch, and they're often a bit melodramatic about it and hold their foot up in the air and can't move. Mm-hmm. Those horses are not the difficult ones. They're going to tell you very clearly, like, ow, my foot hurts, do something. The Mustangs, in general, and these are stereotypes, but in general, the Mustangs, the Tennessee Walkers are very, very, very stoic. Standard breds are unbelievably stoic. Those breeds, we have to really cue into the more little tiny things that they show us. For instance, on your Mustang, if you really, really, really watch them, and sometimes you have to do it from across the barn. You can't be right up on them. They won't show you. But if you watch them, they'll give you a little tiny toe point on a foot, or they'll be in the back of the stall when they're normally in the front, or they'll be in a weird spot in their pasture. They can be very, very, very tiny cues. If they're out with other horses, they'll walk away from the herd a little bit. The big one for us, though, is really looking at facial expressions. That's a huge one for us.
Yeah. So I was reading this, and what are some of the facial expressions that a horse would give you if they're in pain?
The easiest one to see is the nostril. If you go out and the key is to go look at a bunch of normal horses, or at least ones you think are as normal as horses get. Go look at a bunch of normal horses, and you'll see that their nostril is relatively round normally when they're relaxed and calm and just, kind of hanging out doing horse things. When you see painful horses, that nostril gets a point to it, especially at the back, kind of towards their eye. And it can even become very triangular shaped. The pointier the nostril is, the more painful they are. And they'll get a bunch of wrinkles kind of behind the top of their nostril. And like I said, if you look at a normal horse standing in a stall being happy, they don't have those. Oh, I have a little dog back there. I don't know if you guys can hear him. He's helping. So
we appreciate it on the show.
You'll see those wrinkles kind of along the edge of the nostril. And then you also look up to the eye, and you'll see that the upper eyelid gets a point to it, and it also gets wrinkles behind it. And those are really big clues for us that horse is in pain and may not be showing it with other ways. They may not be pointing to a leg and saying, it's this one.
Right. Okay. So when I'm looking at the picture that you guys have, and again, it's springhillequine.com, it's almost like the nostril is a bit of an egg shape. For those that can't look at this right now, it's like almost an egg shape with the point of the egg being up towards the eye. And then and it's funny, how many horses people think, oh, my horse is such a jerk when I groom him. And they have this same facial expression, especially thoroughbreds, red thoroughbreds, especially, I think. And
mine's red.
Yeah, exactly. All the red thoroughbreds are like super sensitive. All the ones I've known. So they all get this facial expression, and it looks like it's irritation, but actually it could be that it's in pain.
Correct. And that's where, having a conversation with your veterinarian about my horse is doing this, we never discount that from owners. They spend hours and hours with their horses, and they know them really well. I'm not going to say that's where it can be very difficult. It's not an easy process sometimes for us to determine where that pain is coming from, but that's a horse telling us that something in their life right there is not comfortable for them. And we may need to adjust what we're doing to figure out how we make grooming, for instance, a little bit more comfortable process for them.
Okay. Now tell us, I feel like this is a very important thing to learn the basis, the basics of, but the heart rate is a very good indicator of pain as well.
Huge indicator. If you are suspicious that your horse is painful, walk into their stall with a $5 stethoscope, and you put it just behind their left elbow. There's a little bit of a depression there in the heart girth area. That's why it's called the heart girth. Really press your stethoscope in, and you'll hear a very slow lub-dub sound. A lub-dub is one heartbeat, not two. It's really tough because horse heartbeats can be very, very slow. And oftentimes it's easy to double count that, but you'll hear lub-dub, that's a 1. Normal heart rates for horses are somewhere between 28 and 48. Every horse sort of has their spot. For instance, the thoroughbreds tend to be a little bit lower resting heart rate, so a 28 heart rate may be normal. Now, if you walk into that horse's stall and they're standing there looking relatively quiet, but they have a heart rate of 54, they are definitely painful somewhere.
So this is important to get that $5 stethoscope and go check out your horses now and just understand what their typical resting heart rate would be. So, because I think it's such an important thing when you call your vet, you've got to have a couple things already you've got to have a couple things known. Your horse is acting sick. You need to have that heart rate. You need to have a temperature. You need to have the CRT, the capillary refill time, the skin pinch test, things like that. You need to be able to tell your vet this is abnormal. And if you know your horse's resting heart rate, then you're able to tell them, hey, the heart rate is way high. Is that something that you expect from your clients?
We love it when they call us. You know, sometimes they're in a full-on panic and getting a heart rate can be difficult in those situations. But it's fantastic to me when someone calls and says, look, Flicka's heart rate is normally 32 and she's just not acting right. And I took her heart rate and it's 60. Like, that's not normal. And that is, oh, Lordy, I'm headed your way right now. Like, that's what that means for me. That's how vital that one piece of information is.
Well, if you guys want your vet to come out quickly, you just go ahead and get their heart rate and see, you'll be one of those good clients there. So is it better
to say that the heart rate's 1,000 or 2? Just to get you out quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to say 1,000. That's really, really, really bad. Yeah. But a heart rate of 28 in a horse is very, very, very normal. Like, that's our athletic horses will often get them down that low.
Jeez.
Incredible. You would think that it would be different. You would think an athletic, thoroughbred type horse would have a higher resting heart rate because they're a little bit hotter.
It's actually because of efficiency of the lungs and the heart in terms of pumping blood and oxygenating it. And so that's how they do what they do. They have a bunch of different adaptations, which is a whole nother conversation. But that's why their resting heart rates can be incredibly low. I will say also one of the best ways to determine subtle pain signs in horses is put a stall camera in and watch it on fast forward, and you'll be amazed what you can see.
The last thing that you have is lameness is obviously a sign of pain. Talk a little bit about the different types of lameness.
Well, we all are pretty good at getting on our horses, and especially at the trot. It's the easiest trotter jog is the easiest gait for us to feel unevenness in. Those aren't the tough ones. It is the lesser ones that particularly show up in the canter. You know, like, oh, my horse is only upset when I'm cantering on the left lead turning left, you know, or after a jump, or, you know, coming from walk to canter. Those sorts of things. And again, you can use those same nostril and eye cues when you're looking at a horse under saddle. So if you have doubts that your horse is lame or having a training issue, we have a couple of recommendations. And one is get a friend to video your horse's head in particular up close while you're riding and use those same clues to tell you, is this a training issue or a pain issue? And that has been a huge kind of thing for us to be able to eliminate some of those where the owners were sure it was a behavioral issue. We look at that nostril on video and we say, no, there's a pain issue. And it can also help us know that we have found the right spot when that goes away.
And it's interesting because I've said this so many times, and now Tony, the office cat, has written it into the article. Horses don't fake lamenesses. I've read so many. Oh, my horse is. I've seen on Facebook. Oh, he just fakes it to get out of work. They don't think like that.
No, they don't. They absolutely.
Well,
don't.
let me clarify. Horses don't think like that, but do ponies think like that? Because I kind of think they do. Okay.
Well, ponies are smarter than horses, I'm convinced. So I might put ponies in that category, but I would have to see it proven before I believe it.
Well, I got a Hackney pony. You can come over anytime and see what you think.
All right.
Something that's really valuable, I think, when you are trying to see if your horse is lame is do the Butte test and explain what the Butte test is.
The Butte test is also another kind of down and dirty, quick and easy. For us, we put them on an appropriate dose of Butte for their body weight. So for an average horse, that is 2 grams of Butte once a day. We do that for 3 days. On that 3rd day, when you're riding your horse, that's when you really ask yourself, okay, did the behavior go away or is it still here? If the behavior has completely gone away, it is almost undoubtedly a pain response. Oftentimes, though, the behavior will go down instead of completely away. And that just means that the Butte has certainly modified a pain response. And so the horse is improving. if in doubt, what I often recommend for people is that they bring someone in who is not used to seeing their horse. So, because we play into a lot of it. We have hopes and dreams and fears about our horses. So I try to get an objective observer to come in and help me say, like, okay, yes, he is definitely improved today. Or, yeah, no, you're kidding yourself. It's you.
And how often as a veterinarian are you allowed to say, it's you? Hopefully a lot more.
Not as often as I'd like.
I mean, I think I've expected that from my vet. Like, no. And she has said that. Like, I called her for one horse. She's like, why are you calling me for this? Is it because it's this horse? Like it's clearly you. And she has definitely alluded to that before, but it is interesting that how many times probably you guys want to say that as vets. It's you. You're killing your horse.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That's a true statement right there.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've come on several times and it's always a pleasure having you on. Give away your website and how people can find you and contact you if they need to, or Tony the cat.
We're at springhillequine.com. Tony has his blog up there. It's Tuesdays with Tony. You can always find us there. We're also on Facebook. I try to be on Instagram, but I'm not very good at it, so we're not there as much. And Tony can generally be found on the front counter at the clinic.
He recognizes everybody as they come in. Well, Dr. Lacher, thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you again soon.
Non-GMO whole food nutrition is the basis of the entire Daily Dose Equine program. We never forget that natural is better and simplicity is key. Our full line of specialty horse feeds is unique in the industry. We start with high-quality, non-GMO grains that are flame-roasted for safety and better digestibility. And then we add non-GMO alfalfa, timothy, peas, sunflower seeds, and flax. Your horse will enjoy unsurpassed balanced core nutrition with elevated levels of vitamins, zinc and copper, prebiotics, probiotics, and electrolytes in every mouthful. Find the perfect formulation for your horse at dailydoseequine.com. Select Daily Dose Equine formulations are available nationwide through Chewy.com and TractorSupply.com.
You can enjoy your favorite equine videos all in one place with Ride TV, the ultimate equine streaming platform. The newly relaunched Ride TV has all the series you love, like Rockstar Vets and Mini Horses, plus top-tier training videos and event footage from BarrelRacing.com and Horse and Rider On Demand. Whether you're ready to relax with your favorite series, binge watch competition footage, or train with a world champion, subscribe to Ride TV today for only $19.99 to see where your ride takes you. Visit ridetvgo.tv to subscribe.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
Yes, it's that time of the weekend where I tell you weird news that's happening. And this time it's around the globe, Glenn. That's right. It's not all in Florida this time. Yay!
We have enough problems.
Yeah. So if you're ever looking through news and you like, dude, that's a weird story, email it to me, Jamie@horseradionetwork.com. Just like Ina, Glenn, Shelly, Debbie, Angie, Alicia, Laureen, Jennifer, Veronica, Janelle, Delia, and Lindsay all did. If I missed anybody, sorry, that was a lot. Glenn, I still need the weird news at horseradionetwork.com. Please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that.
Keep up. I keep forgetting people's names and then they get mad. It's a lot. My life is so hard.
This isn't First World Problem Day. This is Weird News Day.
Oh, that's right. That was Monday. But yeah, so we're going to start in Copenhagen, Denmark, because we were just talking about like on podcasts, but also people that, there's people that film everything. They film everything about their life. Well, hey, don't be stupid and don't film yourself doing illegal stuff. Okay, here's why. There's a man riding a motorcycle and he got pulled over because he had no license plate and didn't have a permit. And police were like, what is this video camera mounted on your helmet? And he had been recording himself driving and he now faces 87 charges of reckless driving, all because of the videos. They found it all on the videos because he did one that's like laying on the motorcycle, driving it at high rates of speed, then like standing on the back, driving it, and like all this stupid stuff that he filmed himself doing for like likes or social media attention, ridiculousness. He put all of that. It's all on the camera, and he is now in jail. But he currently has 25 cases of preliminary charges for one thing. And then they started looking, they're like, in Denmark, reckless driving includes driving more than 100% over. So he was driving like that in spades. Like he was, say the speed limit's 100, he was going 200, over 200 multiple times. And it's all recorded on his freaking helmet cam. And so he had also posted a lot of them on social media. And so they were able to identify him and two other guys that ride with him, and 38 preliminary charges of reckless driving plus 25 other cases of preliminary charges. Like, this guy is screwed. 86 charges on Friday. The police in Eastern Denmark said, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. He's like, this is such a big, unconventional case for us to investigate. This guy's an idiot. He didn't say that. I said that, but he was thinking it.
You know, somebody else that should have learned that a long time ago, not to film your illegal activities. P. Diddy should have probably learned that one too.
There's a lot of stupid people out there. Let's carry on the stupid people trend. Because teenagers are so dumb. Glenn, did you ever do anything like taking a joyride when you were, a teenager?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever like take your parents' car out where they didn't know it?
Oh, yeah.
Teenagers are so stupid because
you're not going to get caught. That's what you think. That's what you think.
You're the two teenagers in New York City who were like, hey, let's get into some trouble. And so what did they do? They went down in the subway, Glenn. The girl is caught. 17-year-old girl was arrested Wednesday. And they're looking for her counterpart, who is also a teen boy. The pair went down into the subway, boarded an unoccupied train park at the Briarwood subway station in Queens.
Don't tell me they drove it.
Somehow they got it running. The police still don't know how they got it running. It's unclear. Fired it up and took off.
Ooh,
now,
did they head on another train?
What could possibly go wrong, Glenn?
They could head on another train.
Tracks.
Yes.
Well,
a highly regulated train tracks that go certain directions.
They ended up crashing into another train.
Of course.
I know you're shocked. No word on how fast they got. It's just a brief blurb in the AP News, the New York section of AP News. But they crashed it into another park train. And then, of course, what did they do? They ran. Well, she got caught. She couldn't
run
get far
fast
away.
enough.
By the way, the mugshot of her is she is in a pink fluffy shirt, hoop earrings that are about the size of dinner plates, and a pink shower cap. So pretty identifiable as she's running in between the trains trying to escape wearing stupid high heels. They have not caught the guy with the backpack and the blue tank top, but I see his picture and I'm looking for you, dude.
She's like a running glowing banner that said arrest me.
She's like a big giant pink marshmallow flying in between the trains.
That's funny.
Here's another one, but I don't know why this would have happened. We're going to go to Bedford, Ohio. So many people sent this one that I felt obliged to include it in the weird news today because the Bedford Police Department got a call. And they were on the lookout for a girl in an SUV. Apparently, a Ring doorbell had captured a girl getting into an SUV and driving away. And so police are stolen SUV. We got to find it. And then they got a call from a guy named Justin who was driving, and he spotted the SUV swerving on the road. And he's like, hey, there's this SUV that's like swerving on the road. And they're like, hey, that's the SUV we're looking for. So the police officer drives up and has his lights on and they're not pulling over. So at one point he gets side by side with the SUV And he gets a chance to look at the driver. Now he has body cam on and he goes, "Hey, it looks like a kid." That's because the person who stole the SUV was an 8-year-old girl.
What is with the girls today?
Where was she going? Target. Her mom wouldn't. I'm assuming it was because her mom wouldn't take her to Target, and she needed to get some body wash that like they only sell at Target or something. And so she was just going to go ahead 24 minutes to get to her home to Target. And they found the SUV when the police officers finally arrived. She was actually in the Target
shopping.
She arrived. She drove the 24 minutes from her home to Target by herself as an 8-year-old girl.
How much did she hit on the way?
Well, the police get her and they're like, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to come with us." And they're like, "Hi, you're 8 and you're not supposed to be driving to Target. What happened?" And she goes, "Well, I did hit somebody's mailbox."
That's good. That's all she hit.
At least she's honest. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to get charged. There's no information on any of it, but I tell you, Lucas would not have done that at 8 because he never would have even thought he could do that. So, we're seeing a lot of independent young females today.
Yes, we are.
Weird News.
Was she wearing pink or purple? Do we know?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, they don't post pictures of 8-year-olds.
Oh, that's true.
I just can't. I've got 2 more because I couldn't narrow it down because I thought this was like a weird story, but also an amazing story and also is about an animal. So the weird part comes from Benny and Suzanne and Guino. They live in Salinas, California, and they decided to take a trip to Yellowstone National Park, and they always go camping in spots. Here's where the weird part comes in, and send me your emails. Bring it on, because this is the crap that happens when you do stuff like this. They took their cats with them, Glenn. They took their cats camping.
I think their theory was the bear will eat them first.
Well, they said they were camping with their cats, and a Yellowstone employee came to their campsite to warn them, "Hey, you may want to keep an eye on your cats because a pack of coyotes a couple things down just attacked a small dog in the area." Well, at that point, somehow something spooked the cat, probably a pack of coyotes. I don't know. You're a cat. And it ran off into the woods. Dense trees.
They had it loose?
Yeah, they had it loose. Apparently, they frequently camp with their cats, and they didn't see anything wrong with it.
I thought they were contained. I didn't think
they went camping with their cats. And it's a cat. Okay.
And the bear's over there going, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty."
In Yellowstone, home of the giant predators. Like, of all the predators in the U.S., pretty much all of them are there.
Yes.
Like, they're all there in Yellowstone, and they took their cat. Okay, cat ran off. Spent days looking for this cat. They couldn't find it. And she's like, at some point, we just had to leave. Like, I was thinking maybe they meant to leave their cat in Yellowstone.
That's what I was
we don't
thinking.
like this cat anyway. So she says she was the hardest day. She felt like she was abandoned because they had to leave and go back home. And so she said she was driving out of Yellowstone and double rainbows appeared across the sky. And I just knew everything was going to be okay. Months go by. It's not okay. They haven't found the cat. Well, turns out they get a message 2 months later from Pet Watch, the microchip company. Her microchip had been found. This cat was walking home, Glenn. They can't get rid of this cat because she went over 800 miles and made
toward
it
California?
all the way to, yes, home. It's like one of those Homeward Bound movies where you cry because like the animals going across.
Oh, there has to be a Disney movie about the adventures of the cat on the way home.
Right? It's amazing. She went over 800 miles and was like, I guess she was like 15 pounds and was like 7 when they found her. She was on death's door and somebody stopped and saw her walking down the street and was like, "We got to get her." She was going home, 14 pounds, and then found at 8 pounds. And so they drove to Roseville, California. They picked up their cat.
God, I hope they learned a lesson, though. So just say.
Hey, morons, don't go camping with your cat. What the hell's wrong with you? Sorry.
If you do,
I got one more
containment is a
stupid
good
people
thing.
one.
Containment, that's the key thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, you know the Disney movie about the
So
cat
much
going
wrong
home.
with
The
that.
cat would have to meet other animals on the way, and it would have to be like a little gang by the time they arrived. So it'd be a
there's Homeward
dog
Bound,
and a
which is
squirrel.
the movie. Oh my God, I cried so hard at that movie. I can't even think about it. Okay, so finally, we're going to wrap this up. We've been very international today, and now we're going to go to China. You have to have heard of this story. I think of the 20 names I mentioned, at least 15 sent me this story. So I had to include this one as well. Pretty much the cat and the panda, because there's some pandas in the Chinese zoo, Glenn. You know, I mean, it's China. They have panda bears. Duh. And so people are looking at the pandas, which have been on display for quite some time. And visitors, it's summer, and the pandas, they got hot, right? I mean, how do pandas handle getting hot? They just, I don't know, they're pandas. They go to sleep or something. Well, these pandas started panting. Why? Because we're painted chow-chows.
What?
The zoo painted 2 fluffy chow-chows to look like pandas. And we're trying to pass them off as panda bears. And people started posting, they're
I
like,
thought this
what
only
are
happened in like the
these?
United States, this kind of stuff.
Are these Timu pandas?
That's a good line. All right. All right, that's a good line.
Yeah, they're like, Timu pandas. And they were like, no, they're panda dogs. And they're like, there's no such thing as panda dogs. Yes, there are. They're right here. These are panda dogs. They're like, no, these are painted dogs. Okay, yeah, they're painted dogs. That's pretty much what happened. Now, all the people that have spent the last several months coming to visit the panda dogs are all requesting refunds. Oh, God. By the way, not the first time this has happened. A southwestern province of Sichuan dyed 6 chow-chows to look like pandas in 2019. So it was given up when somebody's videoing it. And by the way, there are a billion videos of this online. Please go find one, because I'm sorry, they're so cute. They're like basically chow-chow puppies that are giant floof balls, painted and dyed to look like pandas. And of course, then, you know, everybody's like, it's so cruel to dye dogs' hairs. And people, the representative of the zoo was like, normal people dye their hair. Dogs can dye their hair too. It's hair. That is their response. Fantastic. But please Google this, like Google panda dogs, because you will see.
Nobody noticed that pandas move much differently than a dog does. Nobody noticed they sit on their butt a lot and, you know, up. Right.
And, well, they started barking.
That'll do it too.
They're barking. Freak! Hey, come here. Yeah. No, they're really cute and fluffy and adorable. So check them out. Did you Google them yet? Did you look up the videos for panda dogs?
I did not, no.
Oh, they want one. I actually want to get a chow and paint it like a panda, just for me. Just for fun.
It still looks like a dog.
I know, but it kind of looks like a panda too. Maybe like a baby panda.
Looks like they painted a dog to look like a panda. Nobody noticed that before?
A lot of people. Somebody was like, one person wrote in, it's a pan dog. Oh, they said one of the visitors' videos, one of the pandas was visibly panting while resting on a rock in a fence. And another clip had a panda with a long tail. Like they had giant curly tails like chows. And another one had like the long curly tail was like straightened out and they're just like walking around. And yeah, they're dogs. And the funny thing is, like, the zoo wasn't like, haha, it was a joke. They actually like went and like really defended their behavior for doing it. And they were like, no, they're pan dogs. No. That's not a thing. And they were like, okay, well, there's no panda bears at this zoo. And we wanted to do this to have people be able to come see pandas. They're dogs.
Well, thank you. Where can people submit their weird news if they have some?
I'm exhausted. Jamie at Horse Radio
and
Network.
eventually a new email address when Glenn gets around to it.
Yeah. Get it together, Glenn. It's like you're not doing anything. God.
Well, there may be a show on Friday. There may not. We're not sure yet. assuming not at this point. So we'll talk to you next week. There is a show tomorrow. We have the travel show. We recorded that already, so it's ready to go for tomorrow. And they're talking all about a place they went in Montana. So it was a dude ranch in Montana. So that was kind of a fun show to do. So that'll be out tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens from there. I will do, as I always do in the auditor room, I will do a live Jim Cantori update from the hurricane.
Are you going to stand outside in the hurricane and
yes.
film you?
I started that at Tryon when the hurricane hit out during the World Equestrian Games, and I've done it every hurricane since. So I will do that again for the auditors. We will give you a live report of the hurricane. All right, that's it. We're going to be post-showing here shortly.
Spay and neuter